Hello and welcome to episode 14. I can't believe it. Episode 14 of Woman Crush Wednesday with the Red Bra Project. I'm Renee. You're going to see Shauna here in a second and meet our fabulous guest, Jill, tonight. We are so excited to have her on with us. We had a little pre-recording kink with the internet stuff, so we're going to go Zoom and upload for you guys, so you'll be able to check it out tonight. So thank you all for being here. Shauna, how you doing?
I am great, Renee. Thank you so much. Yeah, we learned a lot about technical difficulties tonight, but we always have a backup plan here. That's how we push through. So we are so excited. I am thrilled that we were able to connect because I've been looking forward to talking to our guests all day. Jill is here with us tonight, and we are just beyond thrilled to hear your beautiful story of how you persevere and, you know, really open up to us tonight. So Jill, without me stealing your thunder, I'm going to throw it over to you to introduce yourself.
I know why you did that. First, I need to tell you that you're going to hear some you're hacking in the background.
I was wondering what that was.
That's my dog, and she's currently sick, so she has a very bad cough.
Aww.
And it should stop momentarily, but if it doesn't, I'm so sorry.
You know, we are all about firsts on our channel, and so, you know, we are happy to have another first tonight, so it's all good.
So, anyway, I'm Jill Gustafson, and I don't know, what did you want me to say about myself? I was so distracted by the hacking, and your faces were like, what is that?
I'm sorry, I thought something was going on Shauna's side. I'm so sorry.
It was very distracting.
I mean, I have 2 children and I live in a hotel. It could easily be me. So
I mean, anything can happen.
Oh my gosh. She's been quiet for like 2 hours.
I feel like, Jill, this is kind of perfect because we want to know a little bit more about you, but like you are so upbeat, you're so happy. And so this is just a great segue, but you know, if you can tell us a little bit about, you know, the story you plan to share with us tonight and, you know, why we've kind of reached out to you to be a part of our journey and our project.
Sure. Well, I think the story that I'm going to share is about mental health. And I think a lot of times there's a big stigma around it. And this is a huge step for me. It's not something that I publicly talk about. It's not something that I share with more typically than one person one-on-one. And often not even that, because there's such a stigma with it. So what I wanted people to know is it's possible to be a really happy, upbeat, cheerful person most of the time and still live with depression or anxiety, and that it is something that's manageable, and it is something that you can still, you know, you don't necessarily have to be that sad, sappy person that people are like, oh yeah, I can tell, like she has depression. You know, it's not really that at all. So I think that's a really important story to share, and I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Before we kind of keep jumping in, though, Jill, if you just want to let us, I think you said you were from Texas, Minnesota, so if you want to give a little bit of the background there, just so our viewers know where you're coming from with us tonight and your puppy in the background.
Well, I'm a speech pathologist. I live in Minnesota. I'm originally from Texas. I've been here for almost 20 years, which is really amazing. I came up here on a whim just because I wanted to go somewhere different, and I wanted somewhere that had seasons. And so I got here and I really enjoyed it, and I'm still not sick of winter. And I met a Minnesota boy and his family's here, so here we are.
Oh, that's so sweet. You're not sick of winter, and you lived in Alaska for a little bit too, so.
It's amazing.
So you're going to have to teach me that trick of not getting sick of winter, because I'm well past enjoying that snow anymore.
I'd rather be cold than hot. That's the trick.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
One of the cool things I thought that you described when you were submitting your story to us was, you know, 10% of the time you struggle with a severe depression and anxiety, and you just go to this place that, of course, nobody ever wants to be in, but you don't want to be in, and that you know that you will return one day. But the other 90% is happy and go lucky and cheerful and hilarious. And, you know, it's all of those wonderful things. And so when you say that you've been dealing with this and depression and things like that, does that just your adult life or your whole life, or how long has this been a part of your life?
That's a great question. I think one thing that makes me feel like this is something, you know, I think a lot of people when they're diagnosed with depression are like, no, I don't have that. This is, you know, that's a misdiagnosis, or it's just a tough time. I can look back on my entire life and see times that I was clearly depressed, even as a little child. Those times when, you know, I had periods of days where I couldn't go to school because I just cried all the time and I couldn't say why. You know, being unable to cope with change, even into my adult life, if anything was different, if I changed jobs, if a friend wasn't at school, you know, just all of those things would throw me into this dark place where I couldn't function, and I couldn't leave the house, and I would cry, and, you know, I couldn't say why. I was so sad. And, you know, I come from a family that, even though my mom also suffers from depression, she doesn't want to admit it, and it's just things are because life is horrible. That's the attitude that I come from. If you're sad, it's because life is horrible, and so you should be sad. And so as I got older, and I wasn't actually diagnosed with depression until I was almost 30, and I didn't start meds till I was in my mid-30s, and it changed my life. And, you know, I think so many people that's where they come from. They don't know what's out there waiting for them that is so accessible.
I mean, I think you're so brave to share. It's a very vulnerable thing to put out there. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are so many people that are hopefully watching tonight that are like, yes, I absolutely 100% relate to what she's saying. I mean, I know there are days where I can look back on where I'm like, yeah, I really was struggling. And that was a place that I wasn't happy to be. And I think that we get so scared to talk about it, even though our brain is one of our most important organs. I'm just so thankful that you're here sharing, because I think that people need to know it's okay. We get our heart checked out. We should get our brain checked out too.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think that's another one of the things I feel strongly about, is when this is something that you deal with. And I think every woman needs to, but especially if mental health is something that you struggle with, you have to keep checking yourself, and you have to keep no one else is going to check you. So you have to keep checking in with yourself. How am I feeling? Am I okay? Is this a normal sad? Is this, just the ups and downs of life, and I just need to sit with it a little bit? Or is this something that I need to be reaching out for help and get a hold of it before it snowballs out of my control?
That's a really good point. And for some of our viewers, or some people who may be struggling, but they don't know quite where they are in the line, or if this is just normal, or am I just supposed to feel like this? Kind of, when did you feel like you're like, this isn't what I should feel like, and there is something better than what I'm feeling? I mean, what was that for you? And maybe help somebody else determine that.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. I think for me, it was just knowing that I should, even if things are tough, even if something happens that's hard, I lost my job, whatever happens, life, you shouldn't be debilitated by that. So when I realize I am debilitated, I cannot function, I cannot go to work, I cannot leave the house, I can't see people, I can't talk to people. And millions of people have this experience of losing a job or whatever it is every day, and they still get up and they go on, and I can't. And that's not normal. That even when life throws you curveballs, maybe you wallow for a day or two. I personally get paranoid. So if I feel sad, I think, oh God, this is it, it's coming. And so I have to say, it's okay. Be sad for a day or two.
Yeah.
It's
right.
Okay. It doesn't mean the end is coming. Just be sad. And if it doesn't pass, then start to think about, well, now what do I need to do next?
When you decided to finally kind of, I guess, get checked or go into therapy, who were your support channels, if anybody? Who was standing by your side, kind of, because you are so happy? I'm sure you had some people that were also saying, oh no, you're fine.
when I initially started just therapy, that was my first course of action before medication. I didn't really tell anybody. You know, that's just something that I did. And I didn't tell anybody that I'd done that for years. Once I started medication, again, most of the people I know were like, no, you don't need that. You don't need that. Even knowing the condition that I was in. But again, I kept it mostly hidden. So only those very, very, very close to me knew what was happening. I think I had a very major episode, 2005, 2006, just where I had to take a leave of absence from work. It affected every part of my life. There was no hiding it. And I think at that point, I began to realize, where's the support? Where's it coming from? Of course, my husband has been and continues to be absolutely amazing. When he first went through the experience with me, he was not amazing. He's come a long way, but he didn't understand it. You know, like so many people, he didn't understand, what is this and why can't you just stop it? So it took a lot of education and open-mindedness on his part, but now he is my compass, and he's the one that I say, am I okay? Like, do I seem okay to you? You know, is there something, am I off? Or he'll say, you know, you seem a little ornery. That's his word. That's what he likes to say. You know, you're a little different. But he's very on top of it and wants to know, you know, if I say like, oh, I'm really having some dark thoughts, he'll say, I need you to tell me this. I need to know. And then I also have a very close group of friends that understand, and I know that if I'm in a place where I need help, all I have to do is call, and they're there. So.
That's awesome. And I think that you hit on something really important about how your husband had to go through education to understand and to learn and to know what to do. And, you know, I think that's really important in kind of debunking some of the misunderstandings and the myths and things that are just out there. But I mean, it's good to know that there are ways to get educated and to understand better and to be able to help. Was there anything particular, like resource-wise or anything that worked for him?
I think what was the most helpful for him is I was at that point seeing a medical professional specifically to manage medications. Like, that was her job. And she brought him in and explained to him, this is not something she can help. It's a sickness. And, you know, just kind of talked him through, like, if she were diabetic, you wouldn't say, well, why don't you just stop it? You know, that this is real. And it's something she's going to have to deal with for the rest of her life. So I'm sure that was hard for him to hear, but I tell you what, there is no bigger champion now for mental health and support and just awareness.
That's awesome. I mean, support is everything. I think that you're so lucky to have him, but you also mentioned you have a support group too. So I'm glad you have that, because there are days that it can feel, when you get to that dark place, feel very alone. And so it's wonderful that he's saying, please share with me. And it sounds like you guys have gotten to a point where you can too.
And I think it's so important that you said, you know, if you feel sad, then feel sad. If you're having a crap day, then have a crap day. I mean, we live in a very positive, you know, mindset and things like that. And it's almost like sometimes we can't feel like, or say that, oh, you know what, I'm just having a really off day. Just, you know, just so you know. But, you know, it is okay, because everybody's human. And, you know, everybody has bad days, and some people have them longer than others.
It's so true that, you know, it's okay to just be like, you know what, that was awful and I feel terrible.
Yeah.
And I'll try again tomorrow, but today I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to feel terrible. That's liberating, because if you start second guessing it, what I found is that then if you have anxiety like I do, then you ramp up your what if it's this, what if it's this, what if it's this, and then your anxiety creeps up. And then your depression feeds off of that, and you have this vicious cycle that you can't get out from under. So I think sometimes you just have to say, all right, that sucked.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jill, you shared with us the best piece of advice that you've ever received, and we loved it because it was simple and to the point, and we'd love for you to do that with our guests.
Well, the best piece of it, I read it, and there's a wonderful author. Her name is Jenny Lawson, and I think I should have said that on my sheet, but she goes by the blog. Yes, she has a blog that she writes, and she's written a couple of books. She struggles with mental illness, but she's also so funny. And she wrote one time, made a meme out of this quote, and I thought that is the most amazing thing. But it says, "Depression is a lying bastard. It will get brighter." And that's so true, because when you're in the moment, you can't see this is going to end. It's a cycle. This is not where I'm going to stay. But all you can see is, I remember when I was in one of my episodes driving and thinking, this is it. This is the rest of my life. This is how it's going to be. And then I read that and I thought, no, it's not going to be this way the rest of my life. This is temporary.
I love it. I love it. And we'll get that book and we'll make sure to put it in our blog posts and everything for everybody. That's a great recommendation.
Yeah. It's called Furiously Happy.
Oh, I love that. Jill, we ask all of our guests, as you know, what that moment is, that red bra moment, and maybe you've already kind of shared it, but you know, what do you think that moment is that you ripped out your cape, your superhero strength, and you know, really showed your superhero powers?
Well, I think I said to you guys before, I feel like this is one of those moments, because this is way out of my comfort zone. My face feels so hot.
You're doing awesome.
I'm so nervous. But
You don't seem it at all.
No, you're the dog choking and everything. You just cruised.
I just feel like, you know, as I've always thought, the thing that I was passionate about was animals, animal rights. But the more I talk about my own experiences with mental health, and I do try to share them when I talk to someone that is struggling or know someone that's struggling. If I feel there's something that I've been through that can help, that makes me feel like this was all worth it. And it's, you know, the experience. People think, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And I think it's not happening for me. It's happening for someone else, so I can come alongside them later and help. And, you know, so I feel like the more I share about my experience, the more I realize how passionately I feel about it, and how much I want to be able to be that beacon of light for people that think they have to hide and think there's no way out. You can't overcome it. You can't live a full life. So I feel like this is one of those moments for me. So thank you for the opportunity.
No, thank you. We're so glad. I mean, again, you're so brave to do this. It's a very vulnerable topic, but it's so important. And, you know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I think it's really fitting that we were able to have you on our show this month. So
Awesome.
I'm gonna put you on the spot really quick, and this is just kind of a random off the wall question, but for any of our viewers who do catch the replay or read the blog post that we put up, if you could tell somebody who's struggling just something before they know to go and get help, what would you tell them?
Oh gosh, so many things. I think there are a couple of really key things. One, don't go to your general practitioner if you think you have depression. They will put you on a med. They don't know anything about it. There are types of antidepressants depending on what your particular symptoms are, and people do have different symptoms. And general practitioners, they don't know what this medicine versus that medicine versus that medicine. So find yourself a good psychiatrist and go to them for your meds. That, I think, is key. And if one thing doesn't work, something else will. So don't think if you tried one that it's not going to help. And then the other thing is just to know there is light at the end of the tunnel. It is going to get better. Depression is a cycle. It doesn't stay dark. The light always comes back.
I think all of that is so important, and I wouldn't have even thought about the family practitioner, so thank you. But it makes perfect sense as you describe it.
Yeah, that was my experience. I went first, and you know, they don't understand stepping up the dosage in steps. They don't understand serotonin versus dopamine versus norepinephrine. Like they don't know. And you know, it's okay, but just know that that's not where you want to go.
Right.
That is awesome. I'm so glad I pulled that one out of left field, because it's so important, and I know it's going to help a lot of people. And for anybody else, Jill has been so gracious to say that you can reach out to her with any questions. She is more than happy to help answer those questions and kind of, you know, do what she can. So that's awesome. Thank you so much.
I hope I can help.
You already have, for sure.
Yes, definitely. So Renee, do you want to tell everybody where they can find more information out if they want to get in touch with Jill?
Yep. So we will go ahead and link everything up. We'll do it on our redbrawproject.com page. So we're going to do a post about our very eventful and wonderful night we had tonight with Jill, and we're going to put all the details in there of her story and, of course, how to reach her. And if this story resonates with you or somebody who you know who could really use it and really, you know, enjoy hearing it, or maybe they don't know it yet, but you think of them, please feel free to share or invite them over to our website, and they can read the post or watch the replay. And if you have a story yourself that you want to share and you want to reach out and talk to us, please, you can reach out on our Instagram page. We have a contact form. It's at the Red Bra Project. That's where the party happens over there. And then you can also reach out on our contact form on our website, theredbrawproject.com. And don't forget, if you watched this video and you've heard something you liked, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe, because every week we come to you with a variety of stories that are helping to positively impact one life and another one. So.
Well, Jill, thank you again. Before we close out tonight, we love to end every episode with a quote. And the one I found, I think it's just really fitting for you. And it is, "I am thankful for the struggle, for without it, I wouldn't have stumbled across my strength."
That makes me want to cry a little bit.
Group hug.
I know. Your story is beautiful, and we are so thankful that you were willing to share it, not just with us, but with all of our viewers. And we know that it's definitely going to touch the hearts of many people. So thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.